Hello everyone. I've been working on this voice attack profile for the past month, and based off Ishmair's voice attack profile that he shared on the VA forums and the Frontier forums. I've been using it before that, and noticed, there are some things that I can improve on. So I've been improving it for the past month. The main focus is on keeping the variable states foolproof and bulletproof, so that you don't have to reset the variables all the time in space, or while during combat, or when you're about to fly into a star, for example. I think I've got most of that down, except there are some parts of it that I am either too lazy to work on or too complicated. And there are also some parts where there's no states to track. So if you say, the wrong things at right at that moment, then it will kind of screw up the game behavior. But all you gotta do is just re-say the command, and it should work. The only case, where that happens is when you recall ship twice, for example. The two of the more complicated things that I spoke about was mainly has to do with the fighter base and the SRV hangars, for example. As you can imagine, in this game you can fit different hangar bays that store different amount of vehicles. You can have one fighter, two fighter, you can have two fighter bays with two fighters, so you have a total of four. You can have one SRV, two SRVs. You can have four SRVs. If you feel adventurous, you can have 8 SRVs, and in order to track, which SRV you launch, you're probably going to need dynamic variables for that, and I'm not going to get into that. Secondly, there's a problem with the vehicle depths, right? So, for example, if you're exploring really far away, and you feel like carrying 4 SRVs, there's no way for me to track, when 2 of those dies, for example. When you go to the SRV tab, there's no way to track which ones is red, like which one's grayed out, so that you can't click it. So that would screw up the up and down navigation, of the tabs, within the tabs. So, these are the only things that is bugging me right now, and I don't know when I'll work on them. I don't think I'll ever work on them. That's why I'm releasing what I've got so far on the site tonight. But aside from that, I think I've tackled most of the things that you encounter playing the game normally. So without going too much into how I do the commands, because who cares? I'll just walk through the commands with you, a little bit of it, not all of it, to show you what my voice attack profile does. Let's go. Gear down.
You cannot deploy landing gears while landed.
Deploy scoop.
You cannot deploy cargo scoop while landed.
Navigation.
Navigation.
Inbox.
Inbox.
Crew.
Crew.
Modules.
Modules.
Functions.
Functions.
Inbox.
Inbox.
Multi-crew.
Multi-crew.
Options.
Options.
Transactions.
Transactions.
Deploy SRV.
SRV. SRV launched.
Flight assist.
This command is reserved for use inside your ship or fighter only.
Combat mode.
Here you go.
Shields.
Maximum shields.
Dismiss ship.
Anaconda is leaving. Alice has lifted off.
Dismiss ship.
Your Anaconda is already dismissed.
This part is easy because dismiss ship, works on the lift off event from EDDI. So even if I say dismiss twice, it's not gonna
Ship dismissed.
It's not gonna screw up. But the recall is really tricky, and I can't fix it. There's no way to fix it because as the ship is coming down, there's no states to track that. So if you say recall ship twice during when it's coming down, then it's actually gonna leave again. The states are not gonna, the variables are not gonna screw up. Luckily, fortunately. So all you gotta do if you ever encounter that is just say recall again when it's really gone, and that would fix everything. But aside from that, it's all good. It's all good. Recall ship.
Initiating landing sequence.
Headlight.
Lights toggled.
Nav mode.
Affirmative. Final
Deploy it.
approach.
Deploy SRV.
You are already in your SRV. Alice has touched down on Rear 1A.
Deploy fighter crewman.
Fighters cannot be deployed while landed.
So things like this, like it kind of tracks, where you are and what you're doing. So if I say deploy SRV within an SRV, if you don't check, it's gonna do that, and then it's gonna click everything in there, and it's gonna screw up the bars again. I think the deploy fighter it's still needs some work too, because I heard that it's while landed, but it should say that you can deploy fighters from an SRV. I gotta check that. Port ship. So as you had a glimpse there, the roles panel, there are some
SRV docked.
There's some grayed out things when you're in an SRV, and I also checked for that too. So when you're in an SRV, you can't say fighters, for example, it won't show you, but you can say SRV and you can say helm. If you say crew, I don't think it will show you crew, and it will just tell you that it's unavailable. Which is the same thing in a fighter. There are some disabled tabs in a fighter. I can show you. It's gonna work the same way in SRV. And in here it gets really interesting. I merged I used to have one command to leave the planet and another command to leave the station, for example. I merged them all into a encompassing command called launch, and the logic would decide where you are, and it will work accordingly. So, and it's the same for the other command. I used to have a command to disengage the FSD. I used to have a command disengage hyperjump, disengage supercruise, disengage, stuff like that. Now I have all the states checks in there that so that you only need to say disengage, and it will, and depending where you are in space, it will disengage you from whatever you were doing intelligently. So here, if I say launch please, also it will check your ship size. For example, Anaconda is large, so it will fuss up a little bit more, go a little bit higher before tilting up and engaging supercruise, for example. There are also debug voice command in there to tell you what kind of ship you're in. So ship size,
Large. Anaconda, location rear system.
Like that. Launch base.
Initiating launch sequence. Liftoff. Retracting gears.
Modules.
Modules.
Functions.
Functions.
See,
Hold on to
I'm
something.
not touching the joystick. It's doing it all by itself. Exit.
Engaging Super Cruise.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Alice has jumped to Super Cruise. Handing Alice over to you, Commander.
So that's one of the nice things. And here we can try to disengage to normal space and fly a little bit higher, disengage through normal space and launch some fighters and, you know, try some fighter commands. And then we'll go back to the station and dock at the station and end the video there. You can explore the other commands yourself. You can open them up. You can, you know, change them to however you're gonna say things. I tend to say my things like a robot to keep it consistent, but you can make it more user friendly, I guess. Disengage.
Yes, Commander. Alice has left Super Cruise near Planetary 1A.
So, you know, as you can see, if you don't have a destination lock and you say disengage, it's going to dump you in space. If you have a lock and you're in the disengage safe distance, it's going to dump you next to the station. If you are charging up your drive halfway and you say disengage, it's going to disengage the charge. If you're in Super Cruise and you say hyper jump, you're halfway through the charge going to jump, it's going to disengage the hyper jump, but not the Super Cruise, for example. You can test them out yourself. If you have any problems, you can reply to the thread I'm about to start tonight. So we could do some fighters, right? Launch fighter crewman.
Fighters. Fighter launching from mothership.
Roger that, sir. Deploying the fighter. Fighter successfully deployed, Commander.
Aggressive.
Monitoring the immediate area, Commander. If they're out there, we'll find them.
Defensive.
Roger. Initiating defensive protocols, Commander.
Hold fire.
Wilco, powering down weapons.
So when you say hold fire, you actually maintain formation. I don't know why that is, but that's what Frontier decided. Defensive.
Roger that. Don't worry. I've got your back, Commander.
Switch.
Fighters. Neural link established.
I'll take control from here, Commander. Rest easy.
Combat mode.
Go get them.
Shields.
All power to shields.
Next fire group.
This command is reserved for use inside your ship only.
Navigation.
Cannot access in fighter craft.
Contacts.
Contacts.
There's a reason why navigation, you know, you can't access because it's grayed out, right? There are different tabs in fighters and SRV that you can access, so I built that in, and also make sure the order is correct when you switch between them. Inbox.
Inbox.
Transactions.
Transactions.
Modules.
Modules.
So as you can see, your inventory is also grayed out, so you can't go there. So if you go inventory, I call it cargo. Cargo.
Cannot access in fighter craft.
Functions.
Functions.
Modules.
Modules.
And you see how going between the tabs, you know, I try to avoid that part to make sure it works. Exit. Exit. Deploy gear.
A fighter does not land, it fights.
Deploy scoop.
A fighter does not scoop, guess what it does.
Stuff like that, right? Because you can't deploy landing gear, for example, right? And if you don't check with that, then the landing gear variable is gonna say 1 when you get back to your ship. It's actually retracted, so that now the 1s and 0s are gonna be fucked. So that's what I was tracking for the whole month. I'm coming in. I'm coming in.
Monitoring your approach, Commander. Let's bring her in steady.
Whoa. Cancel fighter dock.
Affirmative. Ceasing fire, Commander.
Switch.
Helm. Link terminated.
Yes, Commander. The fighter is now mine.
And as you can see, after you switch back to the ship, the hard points are deployed. That's why. That's why I'm gonna track them. No guns.
Hardpoints retracted.
Nav mode.
Affirmative.
Gear down.
You cannot access landing gears while fighters deployed.
Come in, please.
Message received. Starting docking procedures.
Cancel fighter dock.
Affirmative. Ceasing fire, Commander.
Navigation.
Navigation.
Exit. Come in, please.
Yes, Commander. Returning to docking bay now.
So those voice commands for the fighter is really useful when you're fighting. It's really cool because you can focus target. You can, you know, defensive, aggressive on the fly while you're busy flying your own ship. That's very useful.
Fighter redocked with ship.
Super cruise.
Fighter is in the bay. Let's go, Commander.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Alice has entered Super Cruise.
75. 75. 75. It never gets it. 3/4 impulse.
3/4 impulse.
Say it properly. Slower. Slower. It's actually doing something. When you say slower, I think it throttled down 5 times. And that's useful if you're cargo scooping, if you don't feel like using your hand. So if you're scooping material from space, you know, faster, slower, really, it's easier. Because I have a shitty joystick, my throttle is really small, and I can't really adjust, like for like 5 meters per second, for example. Shields.
All power to shields.
System scan.
Scanning.
Target ahead.
Dead ahead.
Target ahead.
Dead ahead.
Next target.
Coming up.
Next target.
Yes, Commander.
Next target.
Yes, Commander.
Let's check him out. See if he's wanted. Do some pew. Please be wanted. Oh no, it's a federal agent. Oh, fine. Navigation.
Navigation.
Exit. Oh. No pew for me?
All.
Oh, I said well. It's Thank you. Exit. I actually took out the all command, but I put it back in. Just for some reason when I say things, it keeps recognizing me either saying lights or all. So it keeps toggling the lights. Gun space.
You cannot deploy hardpoints in Super Cruise.
Half back.
You cannot go backwards in Super Cruise.
Stuff like that, you know. It's more user friendly that way. Right? Because if you don't give vocal feedback like that, then people are gonna wonder like why can't I go backwards in Super Cruise? What's the problem? It's a spaceship. Doesn't explain it. It's just at least tells you that you can't do that. You know, instead of you sitting there wondering why it's like why there are no feedback. You set something and there are no lights or anything, no feedback. So that's my main focus, to give you some feedback if you say the wrong things or things that is inoperable in your current state. Next fire group.
Next group.
Next fire group.
Affirmative.
Disengage.
Disengaging Super Cruise.
Disengage.
You are currently in normal space, Commander. Carter Port.
Disengage.
You are currently in normal space, Commander.
See, it checks where you are. Boost.
Hold on to something.
Docking request.
Landing authorized. You are clear for approach to pad 25.
Landing pad 25 is at 12 o'clock far, as you enter with the green lights on your right.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Make way for larger vessels.
Gear down.
Landing gears already deployed.
Gear down.
Gears already down.
This station operates under a docking reservation policy. Ensure you have authorization before attempting.
Docking complete.
Landing successful. Ship secured.
And then you can go about your business, blah blah, do a lot of things, refuel, whatever.
Station services information changes obtained. The local market is selling biowaste at a good price as well as hydrogen fuel. Reminder,
Biowaste.
you have a limpet controller but are not carrying any limpets.
What the hell is a biowaste, man? I have some limpets. It's not checking it. Don't know why. 12 of them.
The limpets have been added to our inventory.
Yeah, it's not tracking the 10 for some reason. What? And then when you exit here, again, the same command as launch. It detects that you're in a station this time. You know, and it will run a different sets of command to launch you to actually flush you up a little bit, lining up to the slot, and hands off the ship to you. And it also checks your ship size also, right? But there's no way to get it perfect because you can have a E-rated or A-rated thruster. I try to be a little bit more aggressive than the HCS specs to flush you up a little bit more. So far I haven't crashed one ship, so I guess that's okay. So again, same command. Launch.
Initiating launch sequence. Disengaged from local networks.
Access corridor is clear.
Gear up. Maximum shields. You only have 2 limpets on board. You might want to consider restocking.
Crashes cost. Feel your speed.
Nav mode.
Of course, Commander.
Boost.
Hold on to something.
I usually don't even say boost, I just press spacebar and bind my boost to spacebar. It's faster. So it's not, you know, it's an assist thing to me. It's not like, I don't ever say impulse. Like I use the throttle stick for the throttle, you know. It's just for fun usually. Or when you're in panic, you say all stop, you know, that's cool. But yeah, that's it. You can test out the other commands yourself. It's pretty fun. There are a lot of different command and fail safes are built in there, and you can test them out. See you out there, man. Bye.